Vance reveals what Putin has conceded in Ukraine peace deal negotiations with Trump. Rob, is that the clip? Okay, go for it.
I didn't say they conceded on everything, but what they have conceded is the recognition that Ukraine will have territorial integrity after the war. They've recognized that they're not going to be able to install a puppet regime in Kiev. That was, of course, a major demand at the beginning. And importantly, they've acknowledged that there is going to be some security guarantee to the territorial integrity of Ukraine. Again, have they made every concession? Of course they haven't. Should they have started the war? Of course they haven't. But we're making progress, Kristen. And what I admire about the president in this moment is he's not asking 3.5 years ago. He's not, trying to focus on every nitpicky detail of how this thing started 3.5 years ago. He's trying to focus on the nitpicky details of now, of what do the parties disagree on, what do they agree on, and how do you build a foundation from one side of that ledger to the other so that you can stop the killing.
Tom.
Well, I love J.D. Vance, and there's a part of this where he absolutely toasted her. What was the thing we saw? Where
Is this it, Rob?
If a fifth grader could understand it, right?
Yep.
Where exactly is the pressure on Russia to do anything if you're not right now imposing new sanctions? How do you get them to a place of getting to the table with Zelensky and stopping to drop bombs?
But, Kristen, I think that question betrays a fundamental misunderstanding of where we are. The president has applied aggressive economic leverage, for example, the secondary tariffs on India, to try to make it harder for the Russians to get rich from their oil economy. He's tried to make it clear that Russia can be reinvited into the world economy if they stop the killing, but they're going to continue to be isolated if they don't stop the killing. The president has applied more economic pressure to the Russians to stop this war than Biden did in 3 years. So the idea that we're not doing anything, we're already doing things right now, and this is how negotiation works. You do something, you talk to the parties, you try to see if there's a meeting of minds. Again, we believe we've already seen some significant concessions from both sides just in the last few weeks. We're going to eventually be successful, or we'll hit a brick wall. And if we hit a brick wall, then we're going to continue this process of negotiation, of applying leverage. This is the energetic diplomacy that's going to bring this war to a close.
Tom.
Have a nice day. I mean, Charlie Kirk came out and says, can you believe that our vice president was having to speak to Kristen Welker like he's talking to a fifth grader? And I agree with that sentiment. She came in just like the media comes in. It's the old phrase about, you walk into the courtroom, you look at the judge, and you can in the old days, you could already tell the judge is staring at you saying, okay, I'm cooked, right? This is already over. We might as well not even have my trial. And so you have Kristen Welker coming in with the angle, oh, you're so wrong. You could be doing sanctions, doing that. Look at it. All they care about is Trump being wrong. They don't care about the people of Ukraine. They don't care about ending the war. All they care about is Trump being wrong, number one. And number two, they've also got this, it's kind of funny. You have to look at it with sober eyes, Pat, and realize that the Dems have become the party of war. And the liberal side has become the party of war. And to me, it's like they're not listening to rational thought. I mean, other places in that interview, it was a longer interview, J.D. Vance pointed out, he says, Kristen, at the end of World War I, it ended with a negotiation. At the end of World War II, it ended with a negotiation. All except, there was the whole Potsdam Conference, right? All except in the Pacific. After 2 atomic weapons, first time weapons like that have been used on civilian/military targets ever, Japan was sitting there on the USS Missouri, sitting there just saying, what do I got to sign? We got to get out of this. We're done. And so they surrendered. Everything else, Hitler takes his own life, if you believe that's the way it happened. Mussolini is gutted in the public square in the horrific graphic circumstances. But then, guess what? The U.S., the Soviets, and the Brits get together and negotiate the end of World War II. Weird. All the major wars end with negotiations, and that's where we are right now. And we have gotten a major, major thing. Remember, one of the key spark points was Russia. I do not want NATO country on my front lawn. And I do not want that. And the Warhawks, Nikki Haley and others wanted that to happen. They wanted to dare the Russians. They wanted to poke them. Well, guess what? So one of the things he didn't want was that. But now you've got Putin saying, look, I understand some security guarantees are going to be part of this. Do you hear what that is? That's Putin saying, yeah, I get it. So if we stop this war, you don't want it to happen again, security guarantees will be out there with NATO countries and the United States. That's a movement for Putin if exactly what Vance said is correct. But why would Vance say something incorrect like that and jeopardize negotiation? And Putin say, wait a minute, what's he saying this on a Sunday news show? I didn't say that. Mm-hmm. And so I think we're headed in the right direction. And it's our liberal media, once again, Trump wrong, Trump bad.
So our friend Kristen Welker interviewed not only J.D. Vance, but also Sergei Lavrov. And if you don't know who that guy is, he's been Putin's spokesman for decades now. This guy is classically trained KGB. Like he's running circles around anyone who interviews him, and he kind of gives this like air of diplomacy. But when you're not looking, this guy will rip your heart out in an instant. He is the guy that Putin trusts the most. So he and JD Vance were on Meet the Press this past Sunday. Obviously not on together. Here's what I took away from Sergei Lavrov's interview. Russia's not ending this war anytime soon. We had this conversation. We're a week, 10 days past Putin flying in and doing the whole B-2 bomber thing, and there's been zero ceasefire since. I said there was a 99% chance that no deal would be reached anytime soon. People looked at me like I was crazy. Nothing's been done. If anything, as soon as the meeting was done, Russia went on attacking Ukraine. This war continues to go on. They firmly believe, the Russians, that Ukraine is just part of Russia. That's that. U.S. is trying to be a mediator here, and we'll see what happens. But they want to install a Putin puppet in Ukraine, and we'll see what happens with Zelensky. As far as J.D. Vance, just a little quick take. J.D. Vance is basically the straight Pete Buttigieg. I like J.D. Vance. I would vote for J.D. Vance. I think he's logical. I think he's pragmatic. I think he's sharp. I think he's a great vice president. But if it comes time for him to run in 2028, as Stephen A. Smith, he doesn't move us. There's not a lot of oomph there. There's not a lot of je ne sais quoi. He don't resonate with the people. So we'll see what happens with
Us
JD.
is like he doesn't move who?
The black people, the
like
minorities,
the black Jewish
people with
people?
swag. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. People who need to be resonated.
Fully.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for that.
The whites, like Tom, would vote for him, but people with swag, I don't know if they're going to vote for J.D. Vance.
What?
So he is the straight Pete. We're going to see what happens there.
About. We can go back and forth on certain things, but on the racial stuff, man, that you just piss me off when you do that.
Okay.
Tom, that was...
Is this white on white crime right now?
It is.
Is that what's happening?
So can we distract it with a quick
Tom,
Lavrov?
you're not
Okay,
white?
Rob, play this clip just for the first 45 seconds. Tom just snapped. By the way, Tom, look at me. Keep that mindset before you bench.
Yeah,
we
Tom,
need that mindset before you bench. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
Bottom line, there's no meeting planned.
President Putin said clearly that he is ready to meet, provided this meeting is really going to have an agenda, presidential agenda.
So that's a big
agenda.
if. There's no meeting planned, Mr. Foreign Minister. That's a big if.
what he says.
You're
He
saying
gets
there's no meeting planned right now.
Kristen, I'm awfully sorry, you're not listening. There is no meeting planned, and I'm not challenging this. But you cannot, I think, understand what I am saying. Putin is ready to meet with Zelensky when the agenda would be ready for a summit.
It's because Zelensky
And
didn't agree
this
to
agenda is
something
not
very
ready
basic.
at all. President Trump suggested, after Anchorage, several points which we share. And on some of them, we agreed to show some flexibility.
Okay.
When President Trump brought those
Zelensky
issues
said no to everything.
to the meeting in Washington, with Zelensky present together with his European sponsors, he clearly indicated, it was very clear to everybody that there are several principles which Washington believes must be accepted, including no NATO membership, including the discussion of territorial issues. And Zelensky said no to everything. He even said no to, as I said, to canceling legislation prohibiting the Russian language. How can we meet with a person who is pretending to be a leader.
Okay, so there you go. So you're hearing it from him. It was a 58-minute interview. We'll follow up more on this on the next podcast that we're having on Wednesday. We want to show you the campus, especially those of you guys that are going to the vault. So if you've already bought a ticket, great. Rob's going to put the link here for you to go register. If you bought a ticket, you get to bring a guest with you just to see the tour. Some of you guys are going to be able to get on private jets and actually see what a private jet's like. And some of you guys are going to see some exotic cars. And I'm not just talking about some regular cars. I'm talking some very weird-looking cars that cost a couple $1 million. That'll be this Wednesday. If you haven't yet bought your ticket, we are literally 2 weeks away from the Vault Conference. This is when all of a sudden everybody starts buying the tickets and, oh my God, I got to get the ticket. I got to go, which is great, but this is causing tickets to sell out as well. If you're somebody that hasn't yet purchased your ticket, go to thevaultconference.com, thevaultconference.com. Rob, can you put the link below? Thevaultconference.com. If we have a QR code for them to go there as well, get yourself a ticket. Generals will be able to network with around 400-500 people. Platinums and executives will get a tour by a couple of our associates. Anybody that's got a founder or CEO ticket, I'm going to be giving you a tour of the entire facility. Excited to see everybody here. We're going to have some hors d'oeuvres, some food. You know, it's going to be you'll see stuff before a lot of other people will see it. So again, if you're in South Florida or surrounding, people are traveling from other countries here to just come for this. But if you haven't yet, go to thevaultconference.com, get your ticket, and go register with the link below. Add a guest. We'll see you here in 48 hours. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.